Hey guys, Jennifer here with the Family Fudge, and today I'm taking you along with me as I pack for our next big family adventure. No, honestly, I still have a lot to do, but this time I am not waiting until the last minute to pack, like I might have done last time. Right now, I still have about 4 days until we head back to Japan. So come along with me today as I pack up all the clothes and accessories for 6 people. I'll also be packing a ton of toiletries, as well as lots of snacks and activities for our super long travel day. Now, technically, this is going to be my 7th trip to Japan. I went there in my teens and in my 20s, and I absolutely love it. This is going to be the 2nd trip to Japan for the rest of the family, so we pretty much know what to expect and what types of things we really want to pack. But you guys, I am not a light packer. Now, for this trip, we will be spending some time in Tokyo, we'll be taking some day trips to the mountains, and of course, we'll be spending plenty of time at Tokyo Disney, including checking out the new Fantasy Springs area, which I am so excited to see. Now, if you're new here, we actually live about 20 minutes from Disney World in Florida, so we go hard when it comes to Disney parks. I will be packing some extra things just for visiting Disney specifically. Now, most people would recommend packing light so you can bring home lots of souvenirs, but honestly, we already have quite a lot of Disney souvenirs, so instead of buying extra, once we get there, we're just gonna bring ours. Now, because of all of this, plus 6 people, packing for a trip does end up being like a big game of Tetris. It's my job to figure out how to fit everything without being too overloaded. This can definitely be a challenge, but I'm here for it. Now, before I get to packing, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. First up, let's talk about the gear. For this trip, each of my kiddos will be taking their own 20-inch suitcase. Now, these ones came from Target and we've had them for years, so they're pretty beat up, but that's okay. Now, even though these are carry-on size, we will be checking these bags. Then, for my husband and for myself, we'll both be checking a slightly larger 24-inch suitcase. This is going to give us a bit more room, but in addition to this, we'll also be taking one extra smaller suitcase because we need to bring our vlogging gear and we want to bring some extra goodies, but more on that later. For the flight itself, each family member will also be taking a carry-on backpack. This is to hold all of their snacks, their activities, and their comfort items. Now, on our last trip, we took these bigger backpacks from Amazon, and these are pretty nice, but they're also pretty big. They can be kind of tricky to fit under the seat in front of you. So this time, since we're in basic economy, we won't have any extra legroom, we've decided to bring our older, smaller traveling backpacks instead. Again, we've had these ones for years and they are tried and true. Although my oldest daughter asked if she could just bring her regular school backpack instead. So that's all the basic gear we're bringing, but just in case we find any souvenirs we want to bring back home, we are going to throw in a couple of these collapsible duffel bags. Now, moving on to the snacks category. I'm not just bringing snacks, I'm also going to be packing a breakfast and a lunch too. We're going on 2 different flights. It's going to be about 17 hours total, plus we have a layover. And of course, some food will be provided on the plane, but we don't know what that's going to be, and some of my kids tend to be picky eaters, so we're bringing our own food. To pack up all of these snacks, I am using these clear packing cubes. These are going to be like our little lunch boxes, and as you will see, these lunch boxes and a lot more things are going to be color coded. With our large family, I have a lot of travel gear to keep track of, so each person in the family has their own color. That way we can easily tell which item belongs to which kid. Mackenzie's color is burgundy, Jackson's is green, Lily's color is purple, and if it's blue, it probably belongs to Griffin. Now, I'm going to start by putting together a grab-and-go breakfast. Our first flight of the day leaves at 6 a.m., which means we have to leave our house insanely early. Now, because of this, I always like to pack a breakfast for the kids, and I always make the same thing. It's become kind of a travel day tradition. I just take a sheet of foil, I add a croissant, some deli ham, and plenty plenty of cheese. Then I wrap it all up. This is simple, it's basic, but it's something all the kids enjoy. Now in the morning before we leave the house, I'll go ahead and throw these in the oven, wrapped in the foil. And after about 10 minutes, they'll be warmed up, the cheese will be melty, and it'll be delicious. We'll just bring these with us. Now to go with the sandwiches, I'll also be packing each kid a little orange and a pack of these freeze-dried yogurt bites. Around lunchtime is when we're going to be having a 2-hour layover before catching our next flight to Japan. So for lunch, I'm packing all of the classics. For the main course, I'm packing a strawberry PB&J. These are the ones with extra filling, so they should be more filling. Next, for the fruit, I'm adding some apple slices. I usually slice up my own apples, but these ones are just so quick and easy. For the veggies, I picked up these little containers that claim to be leak-proof, so hopefully they will be. In here, I'm just gonna add some baby carrots and some cucumbers, and I did go ahead and cut the cucumbers into little cherry blossom shapes since we will be in Japan for cherry blossom season. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and store these in the fridge for now, but right before we leave, I will squirt a little bit of ranch in here. And you guys, I have taken small amounts of ranch dip through security before with no problems at all. Next, for a snack on the side, I'm going to add these little chicken jerky sticks. I will throw an extra one in my teens' lunch boxes. And then to go along with that, I'm also adding in a string cheese. Now, in addition to breakfast and lunch, I'm also gonna throw in some very special snacks that the kids can have throughout our travel day. And I've decided to go with lots of Easter and spring treats because we're actually going to be in Japan on Easter. So I'm putting some of the treats in here that I would normally put in their Easter baskets. First, I'm adding a little Easter version of Muddy Buddies. If you've never had these before, it's basically chocolate and peanut butter coated cereal. It is so good. Next, I'm giving each kid a Kinder Joy egg. Now, even though some of my kids are older, they still find these fun. To go along with that, I'm also packing a little bag of bunny trail mix. And then to be extra fun, I'm going to take a few Easter eggs, and inside I'm going to hide some Easter fruit snacks. And then lastly, I'm adding in some little white cheddar bunny bites. Now friends, I know this might look like a lot of snacks, but it's going to be a very long travel day. But also when it comes to traveling food, I like to pack things that are packaged. I like that the food is sealed, you can keep it clean and fresh. Now, for my husband and for myself, our snack bags are pretty similar with just a few changes because we do like some different things. He's gonna get some beef sticks, I prefer chicken, and then for our breakfast, instead of a sandwich, I'm just gonna be packing some hard-boiled eggs. And no, these are not for the flight, they are for before the flight. I really try not to pack things that are smelly or messy. Now, these technically aren't snacks, but I saw these little gummies on the candy aisle at Target and they look really interesting. They're not actually medicine, and I'm not sure if they're gonna work at all, but they claim to help you have a restful time, so I think I'm gonna give these a try. Oh yes, and I do wanna go ahead and throw in some of our favorite drink mixes as well. And the same thing goes for the kids. They're each gonna bring their own collapsible water bottle so they can easily make their own drinks and stay hydrated on the plane. Now guys, we will still be on the airplane during breakfast for the next morning, but just in case it's not something that the kids like, I'm just gonna throw in this banana oatmeal bar. Next up, let's talk about activities for the kids. And yes, when the kids were little, I used to pack a lot of activities for not only plane trips, but also road trips too. But now that the kids are older, they don't need as much to stay entertained, but I do have a few things. Now, most of these items I found on either Amazon or in the dollar section of Target. Some of these things my kids can take turns with, and some of these things the kids can actually share and take turns with, so I don't have to have 4 of everything. First up, I have some new fidget toys that I think the kids are going to love. Honestly, I've tested these out and they're pretty fun. Now, I love these because they are bunny shaped. They're not messy at all. Nothing is sticky. You get 4 of these little bunnies and a bunch of these little silicone tubey things. Basically, you just thread them through in different patterns. It's really simple, but it's oddly satisfying. Next, I have a few books and activities for different ages. First, we have an Easter themed Mad Libs. My older kids like this one. Next, I have an Easter Berenstain Bears book. This one comes with stickers and everything. Now, I know it says Berenstain Bears, but when I was a kid, we used to always say Berenstein. So that's what I'm gonna say. Next, I have a Paint By sticker book. This is the Easter edition, of course. These will keep any kid busy for a while. I also picked up a Highlights book. This one has Easter themed puzzles. My son Jackson especially loves books like this. But then my younger son Griffin would probably like this one a lot better. This is an Easter themed bluey coloring book, and I really like this one for travel because it has twistable crayons instead of markers. Now, I know my daughter Lily will definitely want one of these. These are basically a little clipboard for writing, but then on the inside there's also space to store your pens and your paper and all your stickers and things like that. Next, I have a couple of these little scratch art kits. These are really fun, but whenever the kids use these, I make sure to have a few wipes handy just in case. Now, I also picked up a couple of these electronic writing boards. All of my kids love to doodle on these, and I love that they're not messy and that you can use them over and over. You can doodle on them, or you can even practice your Japanese on the way to Japan. And then lastly, I also have a Travel Disney I Spy game. We've had this one for a while. And another one of our favorite travel games are these travel tangrams. Now, of course, the kids will also have lots of movies and shows that they can watch on the airplane as well. But in addition to those activities, the kids each have a few tech items they want to bring. And they each have their own tech bag to help keep everything organized and easy to find. For my 2 older kids, they have some old phones. We've loaded those up with music and audiobooks. And then for the younger 2, they have a little MP3 player. Those also have lots of music and books on them as well. In their little tech bags, they can have their own headphones, their batteries, and their charging cords all in one place. And my 2 younger kids also have their own tablets with these super fun pop-it cases. They could put these in their backpack if they want to bring them, but I'm not sure if they want to bring them yet. No, honestly, I think this is plenty of activities for them to do. Now, as for me, my tech bag is a little bit bigger because I have a lot more gadgets than they do. But for my activities, I'll probably just brush up on my Japanese. I've already downloaded lots of YouTube videos from my favorite Japan YouTubers, and I'm hoping to watch those. And you guys, to make watching videos on my phone a lot more comfortable, I like to use this little gadget here. It can actually attach my phone to the tray table in front of me so I don't have to bend my neck down to watch my phone. And of course, my husband John has his own tech bag as well. Okay guys, so the snacks, the activities, and the tech bags are going in our carry-on backpacks, but I do have a few extra things I want to add. First, I'm packing each kid an emergency change of clothes for the plane. Now, this is something I do especially if I check their suitcases sizes. And I usually just pack something that's small and easy, like a t-shirt and a pair of shorts. This comes in super handy if someone gets motion sick on the plane or if they spill their entire cup of ginger ale on themselves. And I always like to pack their extra clothes in a Ziploc bag. That way they can use that Ziploc bag to put their wet clothes into if they need to. Next, I have a few comfort items. During our flight to Japan, my girls and I are sitting together, and my husband and the boys are sitting together. The only thing is, we're going to be on opposite sides of the plane. So to make sure everyone has what they might need during the flight, I'm making each of them their own comfort bag. In the kids' bags, I'm adding some tissues, some gum. This is to help with their ear pressure. Each kid is also getting their own hand sanitizer for after they use the lavatory. And when it comes to hand sanitizer, I made sure to just get the lemon and the strawberry ones. That way the smell isn't too strong or perfumey. Next, they're each getting their own lip balm, some throat drops, and an emergency pack of vitamin C. I'm also giving each kiddo a liquid IV just to make sure they can stay hydrated, and they'll be able to add this to their water bottles if needed. Next, my girls just got their bangs cut, so I thought they might appreciate a little travel comb. And then lastly, for each girl, I'm also throwing in a scrunchie. Now in my comfort bag, I have things that I might need on the plane. Now, I don't know about you, but I always get so dry. So I have things for my nose, my eyes, my skin, and things like that. I also have some travel toothbrushes so I can stay fresh. I have some floss, a little thing of Q-tips, and then pretty much everything else that the kids' bag has. And because some of these things are liquid, I like to keep these in a TSA-approved clear bag just in case I have to take them out through security. Now, my husband's bag is pretty similar, but he does also have a little container of melatonin, a Tide pen in case of spills. He has some other medicines that he might want. Plus, he also has our little walking pharmacy. Now, unfortunately, we have needed things like this on flights before, especially that one time where he passed out on a flight and injured his eye. Definitely go check out that video after this. I will link it down below. And we did make sure that none of these medications are illegal to bring into Japan, because surprisingly, there are some medicines that are okay in the US that are not okay to have in Japan. So now let's talk about some comfort items that I am not bringing on this trip. This time, I'm not bringing any travel blankets or regular eye masks. We don't really need to because the airline will provide these. I'm also not bringing any of our regular neck pillows. We've tried so many different ones in the past and we've decided we don't really love any of them. But what we are hoping to try this time are these. These are eye masks that attach to your headrest and they keep your head from bobbling when you fall asleep. That's always my biggest problem. Now, these only attach to your headrest and they don't bother the person behind you, which is important to me. You guys, I am the type of flyer that doesn't even recline my seat because I don't want to bother the person behind me. And then another thing I'm interested in trying includes 2 tennis balls and a sock. And basically you're supposed to slip the balls into your sock and then you can use them to massage your back while on your long flight. Honestly, my back always gets so sore on flights, so I've got high hopes for this one. And then of course, for our flight, I'll have a pack of sanitizing wipes for myself and for my husband. We'll use these to wipe down all of the tray tables for the kids, and that just gives me a lot of peace of mind. And then lastly, for myself, I will be packing some compression socks. Okay guys, now moving on to clothes, I'm super excited to show you what I'm packing. Now I love the idea of packing super light, but for this trip, I'm not really doing that. And that's because we're going to Tokyo Disney and I really want to pack cute and coordinated outfits for those days. Now I did manage to narrow down 2 racks of clothes to just 1 for 6 people, so I think that's pretty good. I'm not packing light, but I don't think I'm overpacking either. Now like I mentioned earlier, earlier, we live super close to Disney World. We go there often, and 9 times out of 10, we are wearing coordinated outfits when we go. But I have to say, there is a huge fashion difference between what people wear at the Disney parks in the US versus what people wear at Disney parks in Japan. We've seen so many long dresses, long skirts, and it's super common to see groups wearing matching or coordinating outfits. So that's exactly what we're planning to do too. Our outfits are based on which park we're going to be in that day. For outfit 1, we're going to be visiting Fantasy Springs. So my girls and I are Disney bounding as Anna, Elsa, and Rapunzel. Now my boys, who aren't really into princesses, they're gonna go with a DuckTales theme instead. And yes, their DuckTales shirts are written in Japanese. Next, on day 2, we're going to be checking out Disney Sea, and for this, we're going with a Duffy and Friends theme. We chose these beautiful, long chiffon skirts that each match with one of the Duffy characters. We saw so many flowy skirts just like these ones on our last Tokyo Disney trip, but we also learned that it is super windy. So this time, we've made sure to bring an extra layer just in case. Next, for day 1 of Tokyo Disneyland, my girls and I are going with a Mickey and Minnie Mouse theme. These dresses are so pretty with all of the chiffon and the layers and the ruffles. These are very similar to fashion we saw in Tokyo last year too. To go with these outfits, we have some coordinating socks. But then for the boys on this day, they're planning to do a Baymax theme, and that's because for lunch, we're going to be having the Baymax curry. And then on our last Disneyland day, we're all going with a Donald Duck theme. While we're there, they're going to be having this entire Donald Duck celebration, so we're gonna be ready for that. Now, to help keep all of our accessories organized and protected, I'm hoping that I can fit them all into this packing cube. It's time to see if they're gonna fit. Yes, they do fit, but just barely. I will go ahead and put all of our Duffy items in a separate packing cube. Now for shoes on this trip, we're sticking to just 2 pairs. We all have a pair of shoes that's really nice and broken in, and they're super comfy. We're gonna wear these on the plane as well. And then we're also going to be bringing our Disney park shoes. These are what we usually wear at night when we visit the parks here in Florida. These are so fun. The lights are actually built into the shoe. You can change the color. And yes, we do turn them off if we go on a ride. If you ever come to Disney World and you see a family of 6 with colorful shoes, there's a 99% chance that it's us. Now, the only thing about these shoes is that they're very well broken in already. So before I put them in the suitcases, I'm going to cover them with a shower cap to make sure that they don't get anything else in the suitcase dirty. And now for the rest of the time in Japan, each person has picked out their own additional clothing items to mix and match. We all have our favorite pair of jeans. We have something to wear when we go to church. We each have a fresh new oversized hoodie and a warmer jacket because we will be going to the mountains and I'm expecting it to be cold and windy and possibly rainy. Now, as far as socks and undies go, I'm only packing 4 days worth for each kid, and that's because we will be able to do laundry along the way. Then of course, I'm also packing some pajamas to keep all of the clothes organized. We do use our color-coded packing cubes. And speaking of color coding, if you've ever ever seen one of my packing videos before, you'll know that I like to include a traveling day outfit for each person too. For this trip, we're all going to be wearing our comfiest pair of black pants. You know, the idea with these outfits is to be wearing something that is comfy like pajamas, and that's going to really help us be able to sleep on the plane. Now, in addition to the black pants, we'll each have a cozy zip-up hoodie and then a fun oversized t-shirt. Now this time I got everybody their own Easter themed shirt since we will be in Japan for Easter. But then for my husband, he's just going with a Japanese Mickey shirt. And then for me, you know I've got to go with my kawaii bento shirt. You guys know I love cute lunches. And then the last part to our traveling outfits are the hats. Each person has their own favorite hat that they're going to be bringing, except for Lily, who doesn't like hats. She'd rather wear a headband. Okay friends, now that brings me to the toiletries. And as far as these go, each kiddo is getting their own color-coded bag. Now we've been using these ones for years. They've held up super well, but this time, these are going to be going into the kids' checked suitcases, so I don't have to worry about liquids or anything like that. For this trip, we are going to be moving around from Airbnbs to hotels to separate hotel rooms. So I wanted each person to have their own bag so that they could get ready independently. Although there are going to be a few shared items. For each kid, I'm packing some shampoo and conditioner and a few hair products, not too many because I would like to buy some in Japan. They are awesome there. I'm also packing things like mouthwash, toothbrushes, toothpaste. We have some floss and some Q-tips for the girls and boys to share. We also have some deodorant and some poopery. Next, I'm adding some leave-in conditioner and detangler. My girls need this. And then I'm just going to be bringing a very small amount of sunscreen because Japan has awesome sunscreen and I'm just going to buy some when we get there. Now, I'll finish these off with pretty much things that I normally pack for every trip. Now for John and for myself, we're packing very similar things in our toiletry bags. Except for me, I will have a separate bag for all of my beauty needs. Now this bag I found on Amazon and it's from the brand Bag Smart. They make really great travel products and I can keep almost everything I need in here. I have room for my brushes, my makeup, my skincare, and all the things I need to do my own nails. This particular bag also has a little front section for my jewelry. You can see I don't really wear anything fancy. Now I am planning to put this in my checked bag. So for this time, I'm not including my glasses. I'm going to keep those with me in my carry-on backpack instead. In here I have room for some extra contacts, some wipes, and my glasses too. I would be really sad if these went missing and I would be totally blind without them. Now, when it comes to hair tools, in the past I've used this organizing bag to keep everything together. But honestly, this bag is a little bit bulky and I really don't need to bring as much. Most places will provide a hair dryer, so I'm just going to be bringing my curling iron this time. I went ahead and stored it in a travel silicone mat, and in there I've also fit my brush and my comb. I'll just stick this wherever it will fit in my suitcase. And then for my girls, they each have their own bag to keep their own hair stuff in. Now, there are some things that I'm packing specifically for Japan. First, of course, we have to bring our passports. These each have a color-coded sticker on them so I can easily tell whose is whose without opening them. Of course, we've got some yen that we're bringing. And we're also making sure to bring wallets that have plenty of room for change. Japan uses a lot of coins. In fact, anything under $10 is a coin, so we need some space for those. Next, each person in the family is also bringing a small day pack. There are going to be days where we'll be out exploring Tokyo pretty much all day long, so we're going to need to carry some stuff with us. Now, my girls decided they wanted to bring their mini backpacks, So to make sure we're saving on space, I'm gonna fit each of their socks and undies packing cube inside their bag. Next, we'll also be bringing a couple of reusable shopping bags. In Japan, there aren't a lot of trash cans around, so we may have to carry our trash with us. And these bags will also come in handy when we do any grocery shopping. Now, I'm also going to be bringing things like a travel steamer and a luggage scale. We want to make sure we're not bringing back too many souvenirs. And now lastly, I'm also packing some American snacks and goodies. And this part isn't totally required, but since we're planning on visiting several families and friends while we're in Japan, I do want to bring some snacks from America to give to those that we visit. There's kind of a culture of something called omiyage in Japan, and giving little snacks and treats is just considered polite. So I like to do it. All right, friends, I hope you found this video helpful, and I hope it gives you some packing ideas for your own trips. Definitely stay tuned because I am planning on sharing more videos from this trip. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in our next video.